Ever feel like your home is a museum of who you used to be? Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Elder Insights. I hope today finds you in good health, with a calm heart and moments of quiet joy surrounding you. It's always a comfort to spend a little time together like this. As we get older, our homes start to tell the story of our lives. Each corner holds a memory, a birthday card from years ago, a coat we haven't worn since our working days, or a kitchen drawer filled with tools we no longer use, but still hesitate to throw away. It's not just stuff, is it? These things carry meaning. They remind us of who we were, who we loved, and what we've lived through. I know how hard it is to let go of something that once made you smile. That tug in your chest? That's real. And you're not alone in feeling it. But here's something gentle I've learned. Holding on too tightly can sometimes make it harder to move forward. What if letting go didn't mean forgetting, but freeing ourselves to feel lighter, clearer, and more present? In this video, I'll share 5 things I held on to for years and the quiet, meaningful reasons I finally let them go. My hope is that these stories bring you not just insight, but peace. If you've ever felt the weight of just-in-case items or memories stacked in boxes, this might speak to you. If it does, please like or share this video. It helps us continue creating thoughtful content that speaks to your heart. And if this resonates, comment 1. If not, type 0. Either way, I'm so grateful you're here. Item 1. Old clothes that no longer fit or suit my life. Let's start with something simple, but not always easy. I used to have a whole section in my closet dedicated to clothes I hadn't worn in years. A pair of dress slacks from when I was still going to church every Sunday in heels. A jacket that used to be my favorite, back when I still commuted to work. Even a few outfits I was saving, just in case I lost the weight or had a special event come up. They weren't just clothes. They were little pieces of the person I used to be, the life I used to live. And so, I let them stay folded, hung, untouched for years. I think many of us do this. We hold onto clothing as if we're keeping a door open to who we once were. Maybe a slimmer version of ourselves. Maybe a more social one. Maybe someone who used to move around more freely, without aching knees or a bad back. But here's the hard truth that came to me one quiet afternoon as I stood in front of my closet. Those clothes weren't comforting me anymore. They were quietly reminding me of what I'd lost, not what I still had. I took a breath, pulled out one old blouse, and really looked at it. I hadn't worn it in over a decade. The fabric felt stiff, the color no longer suited my skin, and the shape didn't fit the body I live in now. And just like that, I realized it's okay. It's okay to change. It's okay to outgrow something. It's okay to say, this isn't me anymore. So I started a pile. Not of regret, but of release. I kept a few things, of course. A scarf my granddaughter gave me. My late husband's favorite sweater. Those things carry warmth. But everything else? I thanked them quietly and let them go. Some went to donation centers, others to neighbors or friends. One neighbor cried when I gave her a coat she had admired for years. Letting go of those clothes didn't make me feel empty. It made me feel free. I could breathe easier. I could find what I actually wear without pushing past ghosts of who I used to be. Now, when I open my closet, I see clothes that fit my life now. Comfortable, simple, honest. Clothes that suit my slower mornings and my peaceful walks. That fit the me who still matters, even if she doesn't wear pencil skirts or heels anymore. And you know what? I've never missed a single piece I gave away. Not one. So if you're standing in front of your closet thinking, maybe someday, try asking instead, does this still serve me today? Your closet doesn't have to be a museum. It can be a place of calm, of ease, of dignity. You've earned the right to feel comfortable in every part of your life, including the clothes you wear. Item 2. Stacks of greeting cards and letters. There's something so special about a handwritten note, isn't there? A birthday card with your name carefully written. A letter from a loved one who's no longer here. even old holiday cards from neighbors who moved away years ago. I had a whole drawer full of them, neatly stacked, wrapped in rubber bands, some yellowing at the edges, others still bright with glitter and ink. I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. Each card felt like a little voice from the past, a reminder that someone once thought of me, took time to write, to sign their name, maybe even draw a little heart. And when life felt a bit too quiet or a bit too heavy, I'd sometimes pull out a few and read them just to feel that warmth again. But as the years went by, the stack grew taller. The drawer got harder to open. And if I'm honest, most of those cards hadn't been touched in years. I wasn't revisiting them. I was just keeping them like little paper anchors. One rainy afternoon, I sat down with a cup of tea and opened the drawer. It was time. I gave myself permission to go through them slowly. I didn't force it. I read some out loud. I smiled at a few. I cried at others. And then I made a choice. I kept the ones that truly meant something. The letter from my sister when I was in the hospital, the card from my grandson when he first learned to write his name. Just a handful. The rest? I let go. Not because they didn't matter, but because they did, and I had already received the love. Holding on to the paper wasn't adding to the memory, it was just taking up space. You know what I did after that? I bought a small, pretty box. Not a big one. Just enough to hold those precious few. I call it my kindness box. When I need a lift, I open it. It's manageable. It's meaningful. And it doesn't overwhelm me anymore. Letting go of the rest wasn't a loss. It was a way of honoring what truly matters. So if you've got a drawer or even a shoebox full of old cards and letters, here's what I gently suggest. Go through them when you're ready. You don't have to toss everything, but give yourself the gift of choosing what you carry forward. Remember, love doesn't live in paper. It lives in you, in your memories, in the way you smile when you remember that birthday message. The real treasure isn't the card, it's the feeling it gave you. And that, you already have. Item 3. Outdated kitchen gadgets and appliances. Now let's talk about something a little heavier, literally and emotionally. The kitchen. For many of us, it's where we spent years of our lives, making meals, hosting holidays, packing school lunches, stirring soup while someone shared their day. And over time, we gathered tools. Mixers, slicers, pressure cookers, baking pans in every shape, things that once felt essential. But if you open my kitchen cabinets a few years ago, you would have found gadgets I hadn't touched in over a decade. A bread maker I used twice. An electric carving knife from a Thanksgiving long gone. A cherry pitter I bought with good intentions, but I don't even like cherries that much. At first, I told myself, you never know, I might need that someday. But the truth? I was holding on to an older version of myself. The one who used to cook big family meals with energy to spare. The one who didn't mind standing for hours in the kitchen. That part of me was precious, but she's not the woman I am today. These days, I need ease. My hands aren't as strong, my feet get tired faster, and my shoulders ache if I do too much. And you know what? That's okay. I've earned the right to do things differently. So one day, I made a quiet decision. I would keep only what I actually use, what fits the rhythm of my life now. I pulled everything out onto the counter. It was a mess, yes, but also a moment of truth. I asked myself, when was the last time I used this? If I couldn't remember, or if the idea of using it made me sigh, into the donation box it went. I held on to my favorite skillet, a few easy-to-grip utensils, and the slow cooker that still makes the best Sunday stew. The rest? I passed along to friends, neighbors, even a local cooking class for kids. And let me tell you, the relief I felt after clearing that space, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. No more struggling to reach in the back of the cabinet. No more guilt over unused items. Just simple, clear space. It also changed how I feel in my kitchen. Instead of reminding me of what I used to do, it now supports what I can do, and that small shift has made a world of difference. So if your kitchen feels more like a storage room than a joyful space, take your time. Look around with fresh eyes. Keep what serves you. Let go of the rest, not out of sadness, but out of kindness to yourself. You've spent your life caring for others. Now, it's time your home starts caring for you. Item 4. Furniture and decor from another era. There's something about old furniture that feels almost like family. The coffee table that's been scratched by years of board games. The armchair where your late spouse used to sit every evening. The heavy sideboard that's been in the family for generations, even if no one quite remembers where it came from. Our homes become time capsules, filled with things that whisper, "This is who you were. This is where you've been." For a long time, I lived among pieces that didn't quite fit my life anymore. A formal dining table that hadn't hosted a dinner in years. Curtains that blocked more light than they let in. Decor that once felt elegant, but now just felt tired. I told myself it would be wasteful to replace anything, that these things had meaning, history, that they were still good. But as the seasons passed, I started to feel weighed down, not just physically by the size and bulk of the furniture, but emotionally, too. The house felt darker, heavier, like it belonged to an older version of me that I was still trying to please. One day, my daughter came to visit. She gently asked, "Mom, how does this space make you feel?" I didn't know how to answer. So I stood in the middle of my living room and really looked around. And suddenly I saw it. Not comfort, but clutter. Not beauty, but burden. The table I never used. The couch that hurt my back. The knickknacks I dusted but didn't love. That moment changed everything. With help, I slowly started letting go. I donated the dining set to a family starting out. I gave a neighbor the big cabinet she had admired. I sold a few antiques to someone who collected that era and would treasure them. And then I bought myself a new reading chair. Soft, sturdy, with arms that support me when I get up. I placed it by the window, where the light pours in. I added a small plant, a cozy lamp, a blanket that smells like lavender. And for the first time in a long while, the space felt like mine. Not a museum of the past, but a sanctuary for today. Now, when I walk into that room, I feel lighter, happier, more like myself. I didn't erase the past. I simply made room for the present. If your home feels more like a memory than a comfort, I encourage you to ask the same question. How does this space make me feel? Trust your answer. Let your surroundings support the life you have now, not the one you used to live or the one someone else expected of you. You deserve a home that lifts you up, not one that holds you back. Item 5. Guilt over past mistakes or missed opportunities. This last one isn't something you can hold in your hands or pack into a box, but it's often the heaviest thing we carry. Guilt. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly. A small memory from years ago. A choice we wish we'd made differently. Words we said too quickly or didn't say at all. Maybe it's the time we lost our temper with someone we loved, or an opportunity we let pass by because we were afraid, tired, or simply didn't know better. I used to lie awake at night replaying those moments. I'd think about the people I didn't call back, the chances I didn't take, the ways I could have shown more kindness, more patience, more wisdom. And no matter how many years had gone by, the feeling stayed sharp. I'd ask myself, why did I do that? Or what if I had just? But guilt is tricky. It disguises itself as responsibility, but really it's just weight. And after a while, it can settle deep into your bones, making it harder to move forward. One day, I sat on my porch, watching the sun dip behind the trees, and a quiet thought came to me. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. But it was the truth. We grow. We learn. And when we look back with today's eyes, of course we see things differently. That's a sign of wisdom, not failure. So, I made a choice. Just as I had cleared my closet, my kitchen, and my living room, I would also clear my heart. I wrote down the things I had carried for too long. Some were from 30 years ago, some from just a few weeks back. I didn't judge them, I simply named them. And then I did something I never thought I could do. I forgave myself. That may sound small, but if you've ever tried it, you know how much courage it takes. I told myself, you are still worthy, still growing, still allowed to feel joy. I also learned something powerful. Guilt cannot grow in the same soil as compassion. When you treat yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend or a grandchild, guilt begins to loosen its grip. So if you're holding on to mistakes like stones in your pockets, I want to gently say this. Put them down. You've carried them far enough. You are not the sum of your regrets. You are the sum of your lessons, your kindness, your resilience. Letting go of guilt won't erase the past, but it will let you walk more freely into what's ahead, with dignity, with peace, and with a heart that finally has room to rest. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing peace over weight. Whether it's an old shirt, a dusty card, a kitchen drawer full of maybe one day tools, or even guilt tucked away in the corners of your heart, what you release, you make room for something new. You deserve that room. Today, we talked about 5 things I carried for years and how gently setting them down brought clarity, comfort, and even joy back into my life. I hope it's reminded you that it's never too late to create a space and a spirit that reflects who you are now. If this spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What have you let go of, or what are you ready to? Share your thoughts. You never know who you might encourage. And if this video helped you feel seen, supported, or simply a little lighter, please like and subscribe to Elder Insights. It helps us continue making content that honors your journey. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. You've earned every bit of peace coming your way.